Oh, nice. I think I have that exact same shirt. Very similar. It's like pink with blue lines, right?
Yeah, it looks better on me though.
Did they
Kmart.
make it a men's size, Brian?
Obviously, I'm wearing it. You live in a normal sized home, Chris?
Hello, my friends.
Thank you for joining us for the PEBCAK Podcast, a weekly information security show featuring some all-around good people. It is week 42 of 2023. I'm Chris Louie, and 1 week closer to moving into a bigger house. With me, I have my co-host, Duke Silver, who is trying not to get killed in Chicago this week.
You know, I was gonna do a joke that I don't get killed, I do the killing, but then there's that whole link I sent you guys about our customer prospect that got in a road rage incident and stabbed somebody. So I think maybe I won't say that anymore. But yeah, man,
That was a
Poor
customer
taste.
prospect? Oh my.
yeah, it's a good friend of mine. Yeah, but so I hear you're getting a new house, Chris.
Yeah.
Chris, you're finally moving into your new house.
You only bought it 2 years ago, right? So
That's gotta be exciting.
It is.
How excited are you? Did you guys hire movers already?
No,
Or you
haven't
gonna
hired
just
movers yet.
do
I think
it?
the most exciting thing is the smart house. Everything is wired up to be smart, and I get to rebuild my network stack or my entire IT stack, basically. So right now it's a bunch of duct tape and Band-Aids, but I'm going to do it right at the new house, a fresh beginning.
would you be
We're
totally
gonna start
upset?
with the
What are
Jerry
you gonna,
tunnel.
yeah, what are you gonna do? Buy a 6500 chassis for your Catalyst 6500?
No, I have a mini rack, so I'll put that in. I have Ubiquity
Jeez.
switches. I'm going to have PoE access points because I have Ethernet everywhere now. It's going to be off the hook, as the kids like to say.
No, kids don't say that anymore.
Off the
They
chain, on fleek.
It's still not there. I don't think that's
Yeah.
any of those things.
I,
I don't know,
I,
as my daughter would say, it sounds mid.
I'm super excited about my coffee maker though. That's like when
Did you
people
get it?
I didn't get it yet. I want to I want to kick everybody out of the house because we still have contractors and stuff. I want to kick everybody out before I buy this really nice coffee maker because I know they're gonna ding it, dent it, steal it. Something's gonna happen to it. I'm gonna kick everyone out, change the locks, get all my inside and outside cameras up, and then I'll buy the coffee maker.
Is this the Guy Marone grade? He'd be very happy, proud of you moment if you did that coffee maker.
It's the exact same one he has. So I even before I knew he had it,
Ooh.
I pre-selected it, and then when I went to his house a few weeks ago, I'm like, oh, you have the model. This is the exact model I'm gonna be getting.
Yeah.
So does it have a comma in the price tag?
Oh yeah.
I think it has like
Does it
it may have two commas in there.
It does not have two comma. I'm not gonna buy a 7-figure coffee maker, Glenn.
Does it have one or two digits in front of the comma?
And we have Glenn Medina. Congratulations on being named a Gartner Peer Choice winner.
Oh wow, I didn't know anyone noticed over there at Zscaler.
We noticed,
Interesting.
Glenn. I noticed at least.
Fun times, yeah. It was good to be named that. Some good kudos for us. But yeah, happy to be here and good times. Good times keep coming over here at Island, so loving it.
Hey, wasn't Talon in that list too?
Not even close. He had like maybe
Just kidding.
2 votes.
And are you hiring, Glenn? Are you looking for good talent over there at Island?
I think we're always hiring, looking for good talent. So if anyone out there knows me, reach out and we'll see if we can get help you.
No guests this week. We hope to schedule one next week, though.
I think we say that more than we actually have guests at this
Well,
point.
it's because of the constant schedule changes. Like today, we actually recorded at the normal time, but the guest we had scheduled is at an event this week. So hopefully next week we'll get them on.
All right, if you're out there and you want to be a guest, let us know. We'll squeeze you in. Let's go. So yeah, we'll get some guests on here.
Combined, we have decades of information security experience in here, not just to educate, but to entertain. We got 3 awesome stories for this week, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Before we get started, we do want to make a mention. Our thoughts are with the people of Israel right now who face the worst attack in decades, I think, since the Six Days War back in, I think it was 67. Oh, as of the time of the recording, over 1,000 Israelis have been killed or missing, and we pray for their safe return and their families.
I don't want to sound like a overly like baby, but I'm sitting there reading some of the stuff. I'm like, usually I feel like historically I've been unfazed, but like I think yesterday was the one where they're like, yeah, and Hamas like, killed like 40 babies or something like that. And I'm just sitting there like kind of tearing up. I'm like, gross. Why do I have feelings? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just gonna go shoot a gun or something.
Yeah.
Threw me off.
It's a little out of proportion there. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, some of the things that they've been reporting in the news, and I've tried to not get too much in the details. I've tried to stay at the meta layer of it, but it inevitably gets into things like that of these, massacres in towns and just completely unprovoked, just innocent people going about their day, and then having these assailants coming in and just indiscriminately killing people. Like, yeah, there has to be an end to this, and we hope it ends very soon.
How about just homelessness in San Francisco? How about that one? And the violence and the poop all over San Francisco. Let's just stop that. Maybe we can head towards world peace after that. Yeah. If we can solve that, it'll be a better world.
We should ask ChatGPT how to solve world peace.
Oh.
I wonder what it would say.
Like, I am a chatbot. I'm not qualified for world affairs.
Probably.
Yeah.
This week, we're going to talk about numerous closing the loop items. For our second topic, we revisit our missed story from last week of Cloudflare missing a critical DDoS attack method. And close with TWU. For our first topic.
TWU. Never heard of it.
TWU. Isn't that just TWO2?
TWU. Things we won't use.
Oh, gotcha.
For our first topic, there are several closing the loop items in the current news, so I just thought we'd make a whole topic of all the closing the loop items. The first is a report from the U.S. Federal Trade Commission that Americans have lost $2.7 billion to social media scams since 2021. So there's a follow-on to the story we did last week of common phishing type scams and Instagram impersonator accounts and 6-digit code scams, things like that. There's a new movie coming out. I sent you guys the trailer in the group chat called The Beekeeper. I'll link to it in the show notes too. That focuses on these types of tech support scams, and Jason Statham is bent on burning down the system. A recent study reveals that only 4.8% of scam victims filed complaints with either the Better Business Bureau or any government agency, so that $2.7 billion in losses may be severely underreported.
What do you think? Why is it not being reported? Because they actually believe it's true, or is it because they're just too embarrassed that they got scammed to begin with?
I think it's probably the latter. I think they rely on people being too embarrassed to report it, and then they never call the police, never call the appropriate government agency to at least file it, or they just think it won't do any good. These guys are in Eastern Europe, these guys are in China, Russia, they're never going to get their money back, so why bother?
Yeah. I'm pretty vigilant about telling, my parents and, aunts and uncles and the older generation that I'm, one removed from, about these types of attacks or hacks and attacks and attempts. And I still wonder sometimes, because I remember telling my dad, like, hey, don't answer the phone if they're talking about taxes, just hang up. And for the life of me, I couldn't figure out why he would still want to hang on, hold a conversation with them and tell them that they're wrong and, just argue with them. And it's like, just hang up. So.
Just wants to be right one last time.
Yeah.
I think I've mentioned this before.
Maybe it's that generation as well. So.
Yeah, I think I've mentioned this before. I like the scams. I like talking with them, seeing how far I can bait them into something.
Just waste their time.
I like the text messages. When they tell you that they're your CEO coming from another text message, from another phone number you don't notice, and you tell them things like, when they're texting you and they say, hey, do you have a minute to chat? And I tell them, sure, after I do something like murder my dog, and no response back. Not that I'm murdering my dog, but you know what I mean. It's
of
like something
not.
Just totally out there. Yeah. So, yeah. Too funny.
So in true Brian Deitch fashion, I got one the other day, and it was like, hey, I ordered the cake. Can I have it delivered by 7 p.m.? I was like, bro, you got the wrong number. He's like, this is impossible. This is the number I was given by the baker owner yesterday. Aren't you the baker at Santa Monica? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, first off, or he goes, it's impossible. So I troll him a little bit. I'm like, well, first off, all things are possible with God, which is a line from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And then I said, no, I'm sorry. And he's like, then out of nowhere, he's like, I quite agree with you that, all things are possible with God. You're a very kind person. I hope God protects you. I'm like, oh my gosh, this dude is just going on and on. Then I'm like, whatever. A couple more text messages come in there. I'm like, take care. Then the very next day, he sends me a picture of the cake. He's like, it's been received. Thanks for reminding me that I had the wrong number. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, and he's got the picture. It's a freaking awesome looking cake. I'm like, yeah, I'll be honest with you. I thought you were a scam. He's like, I can understand anything I'm a scam. He's like, what's your name? I was like, it's this Brian from Arizona. He's like, I'm going to save your number, but if you ever come to Los Angeles, come see me. I'll take you and your wife out for a cup of coffee. I was like, how did I just become friends with a complete stranger?
Does he know you're married, Brian?
Yeah. Now he knows. He knows your first name. He's got your phone number. Knows you're married. What else?
No, he doesn't know his family married. He says, I'll invite you to dinner with your family. So
social engineering. Social engineering.
Yeah.
I didn't give him too much information, but I'll tell you what a nice dude. So.
All right, all around good guy, Brian. In true, when you said in true Brian Deitch fashion, I'm like, this can go one of two ways, but it went the all around good guy way.
Yeah, no penises were sent.
Yet.
Right. But yeah, going back to your little story here, like I don't know that if I ever got scammed, if I would go to the Better Business Bureau to tell them about that. I don't know why I would. Why would anyone even do that?
Yeah, probably more likely the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. They're the ones that keep track of these things. The FBI, if the loss is high enough, but it's got to be pretty high to get on their radar.
So, you have a grandmother that mails off $10,000, $15,000, right? Who does that go to? Does the local police, the FBI? Who would you go to on that situation?
I'll be honest. If my grandma got scammed for 10, 15 grand, I'd be like, Grandma, I can get it back for 20,000. And just take the money. Like, you're an idiot.
Fool me once, shame on you.
Yeah, that's messed up, Brian.
I know. I love you, Grandma.
The next item is a report that bad actors are literally drilling through POS or point of sale systems to disable the contactless payment systems to force customers to use the less secure card swipe method. Inevitably, they will have some type of card swiping skimmer on the card swipe machine. So that's how they steal your credit card. And this reminds me of that story that Sam Curry told us about China frying RSA tokens to force users to use less secure forms of MFA that can be intercepted or impersonated. So the police are reporting that they're mainly finding this at gas stations. So on a gas pump, there's a place where you tap your card or tap your phone for Apple Pay. And they see little drill holes through it. So then they break the contactless reader, install a skimmer, and then they said, everything's Bluetooth now, so someone's just sitting in a car with a laptop 20 feet away, just stealing everybody's credit card data.
There's a lot of reliance on Bluetooth actually going 20 feet, but all right, go for it. I went to the store the other day to pull some cash out, and the ATM, they swapped it out. It looks like it's a ATM. Probably shouldn't have said that. Beat that out, Chris. I know you probably won't, but sure. I went to a third-party ATM because I don't bank with them. Anyways, this ATM looked like an old school copy machine that was spray painted black. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. I'll take a picture and send it to you. There's no way that this is legit. It is. I was like a monkey, just like banging on, trying to see what the hell's going on, and it was zero intuitive, like where you put the card in versus where the cash comes out versus the receipt versus the keypad. Like, I felt like somebody, like when you're like in a sketch neighborhood and like you just see a car up on blocks and someone stole the wheels.
Yeah.
I felt like that's what happened to this ATM. Like, they just took all the cool shiny parts off of it and just left the innards.
Was it sitting in public or was it inside of a gas station store? Give us some background here.
It's inside a
convenience store.
Yeah.
Oh.
The grocery
like
store.
A chain grocery store or like?
Yeah, Kroger.
Oh, Kroger. Wow, that doesn't sound right at all.
Like the night shift manager at Kroger, like got their old copy machine that they're about to throw out. He spray painted it black, put a sign that said ATM, and they couldn't believe that Brian actually tried to put his card in. It's like, hey, we got one.
I'm telling you. In my only other frustration to like the programmer of this ATM terminal is that every time I go over there, it's like, hey, do you want 20s or 50s or a mix? Well, remember your selection next time you come here. They never remember. It always prompts me, yeah, this thing is a scam.
Or it's cookies. Maybe it's GDPR compliant. It can't store the cookie that remembers your selection.
Who knows?
When you're talking about the ghetto, that reminds me of another great piece of life advice. There's no such thing as valet parking in the ghetto.
There's no. Was that come from a movie? What was that?
Yeah, it's an old saying. It's like there's no such thing as valet parking in the ghetto. Yeah, common sense. Okay. Don't give your car keys to some guy who claims to be valet parking your car for you.
Gotcha.
You remember how you identify the ghetto, right?
How's
when
that?
The GPS doesn't go there or something?
No, it was Dave Chappelle. He's like, I'm going somewhere late at night. He's like, we're just going. He's like, and the next thing you know, I look up. I'm like, gun store, liquor store, gun store. He's like, mother effer, are we in the ghetto? Saw some baby dealing crack.
Was that Chris Rock that said that, the mall and then the mall that people don't go to anymore? And then you go in the grocery store and the meat is green with some stuff on it. I think a Bigger and Blacker, he's had some crazy skits on that, or talk tracks on Ghetto Mall. Yeah. So
Chris Rock was one of my favorites back in the day. Pre-2000, man, he was something else.
No sex
Chris
in the
Rock?
champagne room.
Yeah. No, there's no champagne in the champagne room.
No, I'm pretty sure the skit's called "There's No Sex in the Champagne Room."
Champagne room.
Yeah,
it's like there's champagne in the champagne room, but you know what's not in the champagne room?
The champagne room.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Our third closing loop story here, we revisit the story of Blackbaud, the management platform for nonprofit organizations. We reported on this story back in May 2020, and it was notable because it was the first major case of a company stopping the ransomware attack, but still paying the ransom to stop the leaking of their data in a double extortion attack. The attackers stole customers' unencrypted banking information, login credentials, and social security numbers. Blackbaud complied with the attackers' demand for ransom after being told that all the stolen data was destroyed. They settled a lawsuit brought by 49 attorneys generals here in the U.S. for $49.5 million.
I love that they told them that it was destroyed. We believe you.
Mm-hmm.
Like wink, wink.
like how do you even prove that? And then even then,
can't prove a negative.
Two negatives make a positive.
They could destroy a copy of it, but who's to say they didn't save a copy or they sold it off to somebody else?
At what point do you think it's really destroyed? We put it in the recycling bin on the computer, then emptied it. Like, it's still there.
We sledged the drives.
Yeah.
So what the cloud providers do, like AWS, Azure, and Google, GCP, they get the data blob, they encrypt it, and then they destroy the encryption key. So that's actually considered a secure way of destroying data. And you'll actually get a certificate of destruction from one of those companies if you pay for it too.
I'd frame that.
Go request one. I'm sure they'll do it for a price.
I want you guys to destroy this picture of Chris Louis outside of Google when he got hired.
Nice throwback there, Brian.
Yep. Once again, no one knows what the hell we're talking about. Anyways.
What I think is interesting is there were 49 attorneys general that brought this lawsuit. Who's the 50th? Who was the holdout that did not bring a lawsuit? Which state held out?
California.
I should place a bet and see. I don't know if they'll list it, but I'm curious. Like, that's interesting, right? When the vote is 395 to 1, it's like, well, who was the one holdout and why did they hold out? It's like,
You know why he's held out? He's like probably taking a dump. He's like, oh crap, we had to vote on something today. Oh well, it's a default no, right? Okay.
You don't think maybe he didn't want to settle and was going after for more money?
That's possible. They want to pursue the actual lawsuit, and didn't want to settle. Nah, $49.5 million. That comes out to about $1 million per state. And when you think of how many people are affected per state, that's probably not that much money per affected person. I don't know how many records were stolen here, but I'm sure it was in the millions, and that means everybody gets a couple bucks.
Yeah, not even close. Probably $1 a person. Well, and then remember, most of that goes to the lawyers, right?
Yep.
So,
I'll tell you the best place, if you want to do a nonprofit, I think you should open up a Goodwill. You get all the tax breaks, all your product is free, and you can just market and sell it up for whatever the hell you want.
Are those franchises? Aren't they owned by the actual company itself? Those aren't franchisees. Like,
yeah,
you don't own Goodwill.
Open your own thrift shop and call it something else.
Yeah. Will's good.
Will's good.
Goodswood. Goodswoods.
Goodswoods.
Next, we have our good friends over in Las Vegas. The numbers are in, and the MGM hack cost the gaming giant over $100 million in lost earnings.
Oof.
And $10 million in one-time expenses for risk remediation, legal fees, third-party advisory, and incident response measures. MGM says it expects to be fully covered by its cybersecurity insurance. I always make the joke when something like this happens that they are insured, and it looks like they are. Bad news for the insurance companies, though. I expect this to be litigated for years based on the size of the loss.
You imagine they're like, all right, we're going to pay it, but your premium's going through the roof. Like, mother lover. You serious?
You'll never get insurance again. You're dropped.
Yeah. Uninsurable.
It's kind of like a DUI, right? They say most companies will drop you after DUI. The only companies that will insure you charge you an astronomical amount.
Yeah. Is it SR22 something that's in, or is that just Arizona?
I think it's Arizona.
Oh, okay. So basically, if you have a blemish on your driving record, you have to carry one of those. It's super expensive. Dude, so, I was wondering, I was like, why would MGM not just pay the ransom, right? But apparently, I guess their cybersecurity insurance was so great, it was a kind of no-brainer then, huh?
Sort of. Also, that's actually the debate right now. So Caesars paid $15 million in ransom, and they were fine. MGM refused to pay the ransom. They actually did the right thing. They're not paying the ransom. That's what the FBI tells you to do. And they're expected to lose at least $110 million. But they think that they have adequate coverage. But it's not to say Caesars won't be covered, though, because remember, sometimes ransom payments are covered under cybersecurity insurance.
So does this make you more loyal to one? Like, would you go to MGM or Caesars now, based off of what you see? You're just gonna go loophole and be like, Treasure Island, here I come. Although maybe one of those two goons owns Treasure Island, I have no idea.
I'll stay at the Wynn. I'll be at the Wynn. Find me at the other end of the strip.
You'll find me at Circus, baby.
Yeah, there you go.
Gross. that and some big beds.
Okay. You know what? That's true OPSEC right there. You go to Circus, right? There ain't no one attacking that place.
Catch Legionnaire's disease while I'm there, yeah.
Gross. Yeah. Well, you know who didn't win at MGM was the attackers, because they didn't get any money.
That's true. They made off well at Caesars, but MGM, they got pretty famous though. So yeah, if publicity's worth anything, and now everyone knows who Scattered Spider is and Alpha V.
So Alpha V is like I looked this up yesterday when I was talking with Christopher Young. I think they got Canada Christopher. Anyways, in Alpha V, according to the Meyer attack framework, is the software. And I think the group is actually called BlackCat.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was like Ryuk and Sodino Kiwi back in the day. I think Ryuk was the group, and then Sodino Kiwi was the name of the ransomware. It gets very complicated with all the naming and attribution stuff. But yeah, AlphaV/BlackCat. BlackCat.
Yeah, okay. BlackCat.
And then the affiliate was Scattered Spider.
You also
I'm
hear
glad you
that,
know that,
this
Chris.
group was fairly young, right? Like 18 to 25-year-olds.
Yeah, same profile as
Yeah.
those Lapsus kids, 18 to 22-year-old young males living in Western countries too. They think they're Canada, US, and UK.
I have a feeling we're going to see even more of this stuff coming up, because I think that ChatGPT takes every single script kiddie and makes them almost expert level. I've been using it to do some home automation stuff where I just don't want to try very hard. I was like, I wonder what I can do in 5 minutes. Like, it is insane.
Yeah, I listen.
Like, generate this code to talk to this, right? And then it's like, I get an error, fix the error. Like, it just keeps going. Like, it's just never ending. This is amazing.
Right before the show started, I heard that Scattered Spider was attributed to another pretty high-profile attack. I don't remember which one off the top of my head, but there was a recent attack in the news, and they believe Scattered Spider was behind that one too. So just like those Lapsus kids, they're making a big mark, and then they're going to get pinched real soon, I bet.
If they're in
I
the
heard
US, they're going to
CDW
get
got
pinched,
hit.
right? So
Yeah, US, Canada, and UK.
Did you guys hear about CDW?
is that news?
Yeah, I saw they were
It's on
they're posted on the leak site, and they said they have 16 days to pay up. I don't know if the 16 days is up yet or not.
Yeah. Lock it all out. I also, so an interesting perspective is sometimes these people say, we're in, we got your stuff, and we're going to do it. And then they don't actually have anything. They're just really
They're
good
bluffing.
at Texas Hold'em.
Yeah.
Or they're bluffing, yeah. So we'll see what happens.
Our last closing the loop item, Microsoft finally removed the Cortana standalone app from Windows 11 in the latest preview build for insiders in the Canary channel. So we can finally say goodbye to our good friend Cortana. I think we announced it maybe a year ago or so, and Brian was saying, Cortana fired the missiles because he thinks our nuclear missiles are somehow tied into Cortana, or the source code for Cortana was stolen, but we're finally saying goodbye to it. It's finally removed.
And that's their version of the Siri thing, right?
Yeah,
Retired.
it was their
Yeah.
digital assistant. It was the AI from Halo, and they just imported it into
Yeah, it was Clippy
Windows.
on steroids.
Yeah,
Well, no, it wasn't steroids. It was Clippy on meth, I think is the...
Was that the name? Really? I mean, was that the same voice? Was from what movie? What series, Chris?
Halo.
Halo.
Yeah, so Microsoft and Bungie co-owned Halo, and then Cortana was Master Chief's digital assistant and his digital sidekick, and they just imported that into Windows, and then literally nobody used it, so they removed it.
Is that just attributed to like how wonderful Windows is? You just do everything, so you don't need a digital assistant.
It's sort of like that Mean Girls meme. It's like, stop trying to make Cortana happen. It's not going to happen. They were trying really hard for a while to make Cortana happen, and no one was biting.
I'm pretty sure we have Siri on Mac, right? Like on
Yeah.
the
Uh-huh.
Mac OS. Never used it.
Yeah,
I have to say, I only use Siri for my phone.
and even
That's
when I
still
do,
different though, right?
I only use it for like set an alarm, set a timer, and that's it. I don't use it to do anything any more complicated than that.
It's a lot faster to just ask Siri if you're trying to calculate something, just ask Siri and it gives you the answer instead of having you whip out your calculator on your phone.
I bet I could type the calculation faster than you could speak it.
No way.
It's like a Wild Wild West draw, right? Except
Yeah.
for both of you guys are just losers. So
And it was like that, what was that meme? I think it was the Zuckerberg versus Elon Musk fight. It says, even the winner is still a loser. All right, enough
Can't
closing
believe
the
we still
loop.
haven't made it to our second topic
I know.
yet.
We're half an hour into closing the loop. All right, for our second topic, I was actually
Oh.
surprised it took this long for the research to come out, but apparently you can bypass Cloudflare's DDoS protections if you initiate an attack from within Cloudflare's infrastructure. A security researcher from Certitude found 2 vulnerabilities in the DDoS protection that Cloudflare offers. The first is a check to authenticate a request as coming from Cloudflare and not the outside world. It turns out Cloudflare uses one certificate for all Cloudflare customers, so impersonating them is trivial. The second attack is a check if the traffic is originating from a Cloudflare IP address. To get around this, an attacker just has to open up an account at Cloudflare and launch the attack from within the infrastructure. A true, the call is coming from inside the house situation. The researcher responsibly disclosed the vulnerabilities to Cloudflare, and Cloudflare closed it without any comment. We talked about it a while ago on the show that a common tactic to DDoS Minecraft servers back in the day was to rent a server in the same hosting provider and attack it from the inside. So this is really nothing new.
So they closed it and just basically said, so what? You have to infect, like, I don't know. We'll say customer A is getting DDoS by customer B, but it's not just opening up an account and initiating it. It's just all the servers generating that traffic would have to be coming from customer B, even though that they're all behind Cloudflare. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, as long as you rent a server with inside of Cloudflare, you'll bypass all their DDoS mitigations because they only protect you from attacks from the outside.
Dude, I gotta give ASU credit. When I was doing some DDoS stuff over there, they're like, yeah, this is great that we can prevent the DDoS, but we don't want to launch a DDoS either. I was like, what do you mean? Like, well, we don't want our students to launch a DDoS from within ASU against anything. Can you protect against that? I was like, yeah. And I can. It's going to cost you a lot of money. I didn't say the money part, but yeah, we could.
Yeah. You just got to scrub the traffic as it goes outbound.
Well, that's because everything inside at a school is just considered dirty to begin with, right? I mean, it's like it might as well be the open internet on campus.
Yeah,
Pretty
never
much,
trust
yeah.
the LAN.
So it's quite different than a corporate network. Well, I guess if you apply zero trust, then yeah, it's not to be trusted anyway.
Guess that would apply too. Like if you're a student on campus, you could DDoS a server that's on campus as well, because you're technically not going outbound to the internet if it's technically on the local LAN.
The amount of traffic going out from within the student network to you name it, it was just astounding. Like, these kids love to stream.
Well, nowadays I'm sure it's all TikTok. 98% of the bandwidth on university campuses is TikTok and Instagram.
And probably like Netflix though too.
Yeah, I guess so. Netflix and chill.
All right, so let's reread this certificate thing. So
yeah, all you have to do is the request has to be authenticated as coming from Cloudflare, and the way you can authenticate it is using this certificate, but it's the same cert for every customer.
all right, so what endpoint is using a certificate to authenticate against Cloudflare? I don't understand. It definitely isn't like a network appliance. Is this like a browser?
Maybe, yeah. It just checks to see if that traffic is coming from the outside world or if it's coming from inside. And the way you can prove that you're coming from the inside is to authenticate it with this certificate and then have a Cloudflare IP address, both of which can be achieved if you just start a Cloudflare account and rent a server there.
I saw Cloudflare today at some event. They're all sitting there with their smug look on their face. Like, you guys just do DDoS. I'm going to get you right now.
DDoS and CDN.
Never
That's
heard
right.
of it.
They do private access too, don't they?
They do. They have a SASE offering.
Yeah, it's an enterprise browser, I think.
Ha ha.
Oh,
If this gains traction, I'm sure Cloudflare will start taking a look at it and see if they'll have to do things like distribute individual certs to individual customers, and then I don't know how they're going to fix the IP address problem. Just not trust anything, probably at that point. Don't even trust themselves. Zero trust.
Yeah, how can you have a SASE offering if you don't trust? If you already start trusting things, that's so dumb. It's like, who sent this? Glenn?
Yeah.
In the chat? All right.
It's just the image of the issue or the event.
I love the MS Paint graphics style of this too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as Brian is digesting this MS Paint message for our last topic, and it'll be a rotating topic every week. This week we're going to talk about this month's Prime Day hauls. Now, I thought Prime Day only happened once a year. It was originally meant to be, I think it was in July, and they said summer sales slow down, so they wanted to create something called Prime Day, sort of something like a Black Friday to drum up some sales, but I guess it happens more than once a year. So as of this recording, today's day 2 of Prime Day. What are you guys looking for? Are you guys going to get anything?
Sounds to me like Prime Day is more about end of quarter for Amazon. 'Cause I didn't even know that this was a thing. I thought it was Cyber Monday and in July, so I have no idea.
I thought we talked about Prime Day like last year, right? Like, what's good? What are we waiting for?
I think we talked about it earlier in the year. I think it was in July.
Yeah. I could have sworn there was a Prime Day in July, but I guess not, because I looked it up and it says there wasn't one in July. So
there's one certain some time of year, because I remember everybody else copying them. Walmart had their day. Target had like Circle Week. Target Circle Week was actually last week. So all these retailers keep competing.
So I was looking. I think the biggest deals right now are like things that are Amazon, right? So if you look at the Kindles, they're like, 20-30% off on things. Even things like the Ecobee and Ring cameras and whatnot, Fire Sticks. So I think that's where the best deals are, but it's like, I don't need any of that stuff right now.
Yeah, I don't need any more Echoes. I don't need any more cameras. I don't need a Kindle. I already bought one.
Yeah, and I'm transitioning. I'm actually not going to use Amazon stuff anymore as much as possible.
I knew it.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I think I'm switching over to Apple, knowing that, but it's going to cost me a little bit more money.
HomeKit? You're going HomeKit?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things.
Well, I am making a purchase because of you guys.
Nice. You're welcome.
This second.
You're welcome,
An
Amazon.
purchase? What are you buying?
So for the new house, I'm gonna go ahead and buy a Smart Things hub. It's 20% off. So like, why not?
Yeah.
Smart Things.
I have like
deal.
20 things in there, and that's the only thing that's on sale. So I might as well take it.
Send it to me. I might need a backup hub.
Yeah. The other things that I was looking at were Roku's, right? So I've got getting a couple extra
stick.
streaming devices. Yeah, some TVs that I want to add to without having to, get a Comcast modem, or not Comcast, a Comcast equipment. No, I want to rent from them, so cheap enough just to buy it.
I'm going to be in the market for a TV. I haven't bought a TV in like 7 years, so I don't know what's new and what's good. OLED versus liquid this versus LCD versus that. Plasma. I don't even know if they still make plasma anymore. I'm going to have to start doing some research into that.
Rear projection.
I don't know about... Yeah. I don't know anything about TVs, but plasma is not where it's at. But yeah, maybe a rear projection or a CRT would be a great one to start off with. Something... some nostalgic for the kitchen. How big are you going to go? Like 70 inches, 100 inches?
80.
I have to
80.
I have to go on Crutchfield. So Crutchfield has the or at least back in the day they had the guide, because I have to measure how big the living room is. I have to figure out where the couch is, and the distance between the couch and the TV determines how big the TV has to be.
Dude, you're doing it all wrong. Yeah. You know what it is, right? Is you look at the wall and you fill it from end to end until there's no white space. That's how a real man does it.
Exactly. We don't need the aesthetic here, Christopher. You buy the biggest TV you can buy, and then you build a house around it. Simple as that.
That's it. You fit it edge to edge.
There's some diminishing returns though, because 7 years ago when I bought my TV, I bought a 65, and they had 70s, they had 80s, but they weren't good. Like I have a 65-inch OLED, so that was top of the line at the time. But if you wanted anything bigger, they didn't make OLEDs that big, and then you had to go with like LCD, which is an inferior technology.
Yeah, but now you walk into some of the places like Best Buy or even Costco, and they've got the things on, and it's just like, oh my gosh, those things look really good. So really good.
I still can't tell the difference between the $800 TV and the $3,500 TV, other than I think one of them had more HDMI inputs, but I just sat there just staring at them like, I don't understand. So I bought the $800 TV, and I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I think that's the case for many people. It's what suits your eyes and whatnot. I know people that are like, oh no, the blacks on that just aren't, the nits or whatever. It's not as bright, and you're like, dude, it looks. I can see the freaking blade of grass that the football players are running on. It's like, it's okay. It looks good, or anyway, to me, it's good enough. So
right, because when I bought the OLED, the benefit of OLED was you could turn each pixel could turn on and off individually. Like it was OLED versus LCD back in the day. So the LCD was backlit. So even if you turn off the pixel, you still see the LCD through it, the backlight. And so I watched The Martian in 4K HDR, and it like you could see the blackest blacks in some of those scenes and the brightest bright colors as well. Like you could tell where the money went on something like OLED versus LCD. But yeah, I'm with Brian. Like today, if it can play CNBC and it has good audio, like that's good enough for me. That's all I watch nowadays anyway.
Oh, jeez.
Well, half the time I'm watching TV. Half the time I'm watching the TV on my iPad. So.
Yeah, well, the hope is after this move is done, I put so much time and effort into it, I'll actually have free time. I can start gaming again.
What?
So are you going to actually move, or are you just going to like hire movers? Or are you just going to be like, no, we're just going to load up the Tesla and do 300 trips, save a couple bucks.
So it'll be the latter.
After spending millions.
I'll load up as much as I can in the Tesla, and then the couches and the beds I'll hire movers for. So it's a minimal chance they can break something.
I told you I'll bring the truck. We can go. It's not as big as... Oh, Brian don't have a truck anymore, so it doesn't... Yes, it's bigger than Brian's truck right now. So
I've got a trailer.
I've got a small little pickup we could use.
Yeah.
See, all right away, Glenn is a better human being than me because I don't help anyone move. My daughter moved out, and I told her I didn't want to help her. Like I don't do that. No thanks. It's not worth the back pain that comes with it.
Did you at least let her borrow the truck?
No, she can't drive the truck.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Her boyfriend's got a truck.
That's the thing. It's like if I had the truck, like I don't mind manual labor. I'll do it myself. But I don't have I have the SUV, so I can move plenty of boxes, but I can't move anything larger than that unless I rent one.
Tesla can tow. Get a trailer, buddy.
That's right.
Nah.
It's got a tow package, doesn't it?
Yeah, the X can tow.
There you go.
All right.
So anything else you guys buying? Anything else that you're buying?
I finally bought a set of replacement filters for my Dyson air purifier. The Dyson's been reading 999 for the last year, so I've just been holding out and buying the new filters. So I finally caved in and bought the new filters on that, so I might actually get an accurate reading on the air quality in my house.
We have one of those, like the tall ones. That's like, it's
the tower one.
The same as yours, the box. Yeah, the tower.
It's the TA04.
And we moved the dog's kennel to like underneath the stairs, like a built-in like little thing. And so, but it gets hot in there, so we put there's a door that goes underneath the stairs as well as the way that they actually get in through the side. And so at night we open up the door and we have one of that exact same air filter that you're talking about, or whatever, fan to move some air around. That way they get circulation. And like you, it's been all nines forever. Like, and I think it was all nines like within the first week of having it. Like, just anytime I go in there, it's just covered in dog hair, and they get like just so much dust. Like they just pull in so much crap. And there's a gate that prevents them from going in through where the door is. Like it's segmented off a little bit. If you kind of wonder why I have a fan and they're just not running into it. But it does move air really nice.
I'm just amazed at the two of you guys. As much as I've seen you guys buy things, you can't spend the extra money to get an air filter replaced. That's simple maintenance. What's wrong with you guys?
I was doing it on principle. I'm like, this thing's a giant scam to sell filters. But I'm like, I had it for 3 years. I'm like, I could replace it once every 3 years, I suppose.
That's like, let me guess, you don't place the water filter on your refrigerator either. You just let it go.
I hit the reset button at least once.
Dude, I've had so much bad luck with refrigerators that have anything to do with water that I bought a refrigerator that didn't make ice or have water because
I'm with you.
It's such a bad time.
That's for sure. When we researched refrigerators for the new house, it was the exact same thing. We finally found the one model that has an ice maker and a water filter on the door that doesn't suck, and it was a GE profile one. But Samsung, awful. LG, really bad service. Go with GE.
Whirlpool, same thing.
They're all made
but
by
the house
same
filters, that's different. I swap
matter.
those air filters out monthly.
Yeah.
Those things get dirty.
I was going to say, that's how you know Brian's made it. The air filter that I use to keep my entire family safe, he gives it to the dogs to keep their air breathable.
I definitely didn't, whatever. I don't even know how I think I bought that. Maybe it was like a Prime thing. I have no idea. I was like, oh, it was cheap. I bought it. And then it sat in my office. I never used it because this generated too much noise. No, it didn't generate noise. I forget why. I guess I just didn't need it. No, it didn't. It blew air into my ear pod like when I was presenting, and then people would hear it
Complaining about the wind noise.
A cluster F.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wind noise. Thank you.
Well, we continue to get great comments about our dad joke of the week. Dad joke of the week. This week, we have a special guest. We were sitting at the dinner table last week, and my daughter dropped this one on us. Looks like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So I'm going to play it for you guys, and then for the listeners, I'll just drop in the audio. I recorded it.
Nice.
Here we go.
Why does cats like computers so much? Because they have mouses attached to them.
Even your kid your little one got a laugh out of it.
Your son loved it.
He did. He got a kick out of that one for sure.
Here's the creepy part. Glenn or Kristen asked her to repeat the joke. He just has always on screen instead of house.
24/7 recording.
Oh my gosh, that was a good one, man.
Thank you. I'll tell her. All right, to wrap things up, Americans.
Wait. The apple does fall super far from the tree because your jokes suck, but hers are great.
Now that's a joke.
Dad joke of the week.
That's
not a joke. Don't laugh at that, Glenn. That's an insult.
Love you.
All right, to wrap things up, Americans lost almost $3 billion in social media scams. If Tap to Pay is broken, check for a credit card skimmer. Blackbaud is finally paying for their negligence. MGM incurred massive losses, but they're insured. Cortana is finally gone. CloudFlare needs to guard their own gate. And Prime Day is filled with Tiwu. That's all we have for this week. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. You can find us all on LinkedIn.
Disclaimer.
Links will be in the description.
Disclaimer.
Follow us on Instagram at PEBCAK Podcast.
Gonna keep interrupting you.
Thank you to all listeners and subscribers who rated us 5 stars in the iTunes Store and Spotify and left us a review. We appreciate you all spreading the word to help grow the show. The best way to find us is to search for the PEBCAK Podcast on your favorite podcast listening app. My co-hosts Brian Deitch and Glenn Medina. I'm Chris Louie. Thanks for listening. We'll see you all next weekend. As always, have a nice day.
Bye, Felicia.
Always look for a card skimmer. Even if Tap to Pay is working, just always look for it. You just never know.
That's right.
All right, good call, Brian. Just yank on that thing. Give it a good tug every single time.
Yep.
Yeah. Where's the live by? Especially for you teenage boys. Tug on it.
Have a nice day.